morning. I'm Courtney James, and I'm here with Patrick Cruikshank, the CEO of 9 Mile Metals, and Gary Lohman, the VPX of 9 Mile Metals. Good morning, you guys.
Good morning, Courtney.
Good morning again, Courtney.
So yesterday you put out some exciting news. And Gary, I was just hoping that we could start with you sharing a little bit about the significant findings from drill hole WD-24-07, particularly the high-grade copper intersections.
Yeah, that was very nice to see. That intersection, you get 40 meters. That confirms the widths that were there historically and the grades that were reported in the Cominco holes. And one thing that was that really stood out in the drill hole was just this. It was just massive pyrite, not like some of the others where there was visible calco. And I checked in the Cominco drill logs, and there was a whole WE3. It was in almost the core of the mineralization, and in the logs, they just mentioned massive pyrite and some chalcopyrite and some copper, some chalcopyrite. So it's that's all they're seeing. But that assay, it actually assayed 6.86% copper. So it's, as I stated in the release, it's very fine grained, the mineralization. And I've also checked through the logs, and they were finding the same with the lead zinc. There's areas where it's just fine grained, really no mention of lead zinc mineralization, and then they were getting up to 5-6% combined. So it's typical massive pyrite is in the Bathurst mining camp, and the grade is there. So it's actually quite surprising to see. And another thing I noted in the logs where they did see copper mineralization, the assays were actually lower, where there was more chalcopyrite, more covellite, which is like a secondary copper. It was lower than reported. So yeah.
So unique to this region, it's kind of good when you're not seeing that visual mineralization.
Yeah, there's something here where it's just tied up with the pyrite, very fine grain. So that's good.
Very, very cool.
And we've made in our assaying too, we've been doing a lot of assaying. So we've seen the massive pyrite before, but wherever we're getting a lot of pyrite, we're assaying everything. We don't know where the copper's hiding. So
very cool. So, and then can you also elaborate a little bit on another thing you mentioned in the release, which was the contact between the felsic volcanic graphite argillite in terms of mineralization there?
Well, that's a really good contact. It's a sharp distinction between good felsic rocks and the sediments, and there's pyrite and graphite within the sediments. So that's a great marker horizon. Just even visually, but it should respond geophysically. The sediments should light up with an electromagnetic survey. So that'll allow us to, trace the contact.
And so based on these current drill results, what is the potential for further expansion of the high-grade copper zones east of the historic workings?
Well, that's demonstrated there is potential out there. This area was not touched before. And it's just a matter of us getting the modeling and everything pulled together, and then we can move some drill holes farther east. That was, we were kind of restricted in the wintertime just because we're on a slope with, a skid mounted drill on ice and snow. We get into, good weather, snow, all the weather's taken out of the picture. Now we could build proper roads and pads and move to the east.
Thank you, Gary. Patrick, over to you for a little bit here. So how do these results align with 9 Mile Metals' overall strategic objectives for 2024?
Well, 2024, we have a very robust exploration program, which we've press released a little bit of our upcoming work. We have our roadmap, and we have our high priority targets now that we have access to on the road. So target 6, target 11, back to target 10. We've announced the borehole to go down to target 10 and have a look and so on in the whole area, as well as our borehole going into the wedge. So I think we have obviously a regional program that we're going to launch very shortly in the first or second week of June. But also we have a micro program. I mean, our mandate at the wedge was to prove that it's bigger,
Mhm.
has a lot of life left in it, and that it's north of 5 million tons. And I think we're well on our way of that. I mean, we've released 4 holes now, all very spectacular, 1.37 over 11 meters, almost 0.5% copper over 136 meters, 1.3 copper equivalent over 37, and 1.65 over 40. I'm just an all new unmined, and that's
Yeah.
east. So, you know, we just announced we also have received the 73 surface holes
Yeah.
data digitized. It's on its way today to EarthX, including 110 subsurface holes, which is a bit of a shock that they got that done, but that's on its way today too. So, you know, we're gonna have the borehole, we're gonna have the 3D. We've got, you know, 4 or 5 holes more to announce. We're going to have a very good picture of this, what's left at the wedge and what is still hidden at the wedge, west and south and northwest. So, and it is linked to the west wedge and the tri-bag trend. So we have a very robust and exciting, and again, that's why we topped up on the flow through, and we're, you know, we try to work as much as we can in the field for our shareholders, and we put a lot of flow through out there.
Yeah.
And we are disciplined. We have our wedge. We are, you know, regardless of people that say move on. I mean, we've got our mandate for the wedge, and we've got our mandate for future exploration. I mean, we're doing both. And target 6 is a high priority now that we have access. So, and Gary can talk more about how these are geologically linked on the bigger regional picture, but we're very, very excited. You know, I think we're well on our way to proving this mine on the eastern flank, which is all new. But at the end, we will do a summary of all the holes in the program that was done in January, in February, and what we'll end up doing is doing a cross section. It could be summary, so people can understand the full picture of what that drill program produced and
Right.
confirmed.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we're on to phase 2, and it's just prudent to do the borehole. Fantastic. We left them capped, and then we'll have the 3D model as well, and then we'll launch our drill program again on phase 2. So we're well on our way. We're super busy. I know everybody would like more data every time, but you got to remember we're also defining and finalizing and logistically organizing our program that starts, you know, first week of June. It's coming right around the corner.
Right around the, yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah, literally, it's right around the corner. But and again, you know, with all this new data and these drill results, I mean, it just confirms what our mandate is, which is to prove that that mine has a lot more life, a lot of hidden mineralization that just, you know, back in the 50s and 60s, they didn't have ICP assays. They didn't assay for gold. They, you know, it was pretty much visual and so on. So I think the northwest extension and the whole western trend, as well as that depth. I mean, the east, the historic holes in the east, Gary, correct me if I'm wrong, but they were very poor. You know, like 2 meters, 3 meters, and they pretty much abandoned it. We're just proved with these 4 alone, you know, and we didn't drill deep. So I'm very excited with the wedge and how it's coming along and how it's formalizing and where we're going to take it in phase 2. But I'm also excited on the exploration of this. Now that we've filled in the donor holes and purchased all the property, we have very high quality regional trend with California Lake in the wedge. With the contacts, the prospective contacts of the VMS event of 400 years ago. So very excited. I mean, Gary, why are you still in Milton? I thought you'd be in the car doing this interview by now.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, snow should be gone now, so off we go. Leaving shortly.
Oh, perfect. When are you going to be back there?
I'm probably end of the weekend. I'm gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. And then maybe Gary, you could briefly touch on what Patrick was mentioning there about the this new, like these discoveries within the wedge, how that's impacting the greater trend throughout all of the
This
projects?
is it. Well, I mean, it just enhances what we're doing, and that regional trend Patrick talks about. It's not only geological, like the key rock units. There are mineral occurrences on there,
Mhm.
and California Lake East is where we drilled. A few years ago. We've got VMS there. There's other occurrences along through there that line up with our target 6. As we go up the west side of California Lake, there's mineral occurrences that you got Tribag, West Wedge, and up right up to the top to Cali 10. I mean, these are big units. There's some geophysical signatures in there that on some of our images look similar to Canoe Landing Lake. So there's real potential coming up, and it took a while to accumulate the land package, but now we can move forward
Yeah,
with really good real estate.
that's excellent. Wow. Well, this was a really solid update, you guys. Thank you so much for all of the information. And I think shareholders can be looking forward to some steady news flow coming out in the next little while here.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, the assays are still coming in, and because remember, they are all broken up to different tabs and so on. So we're putting them all back together, and we'll get them out as soon as turnaround as quickly as possible. And also, we'll be launching our defining and letting everyone know with the programs coming up. But you do have the borehole going into hole 10, the the wedge mine. We've got our whole plan to put out in the public domain very shortly, which starts first week of June. So very
Perfect.
excited.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to more updates. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.